Spring is here, and it's a nice warm spring day. I'm out looking for some objects from nature that I can use to make something else that's useful or nice to look at. So just walking around the property here and trying to find some good stuff. Get the stone. I think we'll do something with that. Another little stone. I like to keep rocks that have a nice flat surface. You can draw on them, paint on them, do a little Zentangle. But here's a nice spot to look. It's a nice pine tree, long pine needles, and the best treat of all is these nice pine cones, Pennsylvania pine cones. They're not too big, they're nice size to work with, and I was thinking when they start falling to the ground that I would make a wreath using them. I have one in mind that makes them look like they're dahlias, because you take pine cones and you paint the back end of them to look like a flower, and you can arrange them in a bowl or use them on a wreath to make it look like spring. Today a few fell to the ground because it's so nice and warm and they're opening up nicely. However, if you find some that are not open, you can always put a hairdryer on them and the warmth of the air will open them right up. I found a nice little collection of pine cones today. They're all open up pretty nicely. And then I found an old grapevine wreath that had a previous life, but I saved it from a wreath from another day, and we're going to use that to dress it up. But you can use anything that's kind of circular that you want to, you know, mount something on that will cover the wreath. This one I use because I thought it had a nice shape. You can even use like a swimming pool noodle, cut it, glue it together with a glue gun, and use that as your way to mount some products on it. So we're going to paint these, we're going to arrange them on the wreath, glue them on, and then we're going to weave a little greens in between there to make it have a nice bright life. And I'm going to use some craft paint that I bought at Michael's. These were like pretty inexpensive. Just get some colors that you have to have an idea what you want your flowers to look like. I want them to look like dahlias, so I'm using colors that look like the actual flower. All right, let's get them painted. Okay, the type of paint that I chose, the craft paint, is pretty much like the normal paint. However, there was a choice to get some that was an outdoor type paint. I expected it would last a little longer with the weathering. So this is outdoor acrylic craft paint. And just have a little variety of colors here. I'm going to start painting the flower, leaving the yellow for the center of the flower at the end. Just going to make sure with the brush that all the paint goes into the little cracks around the bottom of the pine cone, because some of those are a little bit tight. That kind of looks like a dahlia, doesn't it, as we start painting. You don't have to paint the whole pine cone, but paint far enough down that when you look at all sides of the wreath, you will see blue or whatever color you chose for that particular flower. Some may be mounted this way, that way, a little bit of a twist to it. So don't be shy about covering them with this paint. Alright, this paint dries pretty quickly. It's still drying, but if you paint something like this, you still have a little handle to hold on to your pine cone. You don't even have to get any on your fingers, the paint that is. And you can see I even painted a little bit of the underside around the edges, so there's not going to be any brown exposed when we mount these on the grapevine wreath. So after this dries, I'll paint a nice yellow dot in the center. Very simple. You don't even have to shade this stuff. It really brings out the dimension by having different layers of texture in the pine cone. Okay, we're on to some other colors. Cleanup is easy with this kind of paint. Just swish your brushes in a little bit of water. And after I get the rest of the pine cones painted, I'll show you how to assemble the wreath. This paint sticks pretty good. It's really nice. I just had one other little tip about cleaning your brushes. If you're using the craft paint and you only need water to clean them, I always buy brushes that fit in a water bottle. And then at the very end, you might swish them around during the process of painting. But when you're all done, just shake them up in a little bit of water that's left in the water bottle you're drinking. And they come out so nice and clean. Okay, just wanted to show you that. Now, overnight, I left these flowers dry, and they really look cute. Now I'm going to take the grapevine wreath and a glue gun, heat up some glue, and position them around on the grapevine wreath. Make sure they have enough glue attached to make them stick. And we'll go around and we'll do each one, and then we'll come back and add some greens. It really doesn't take a lot of glue. If you don't overdo it, then someday you can use this wreath again for something else when you change your decorating. Now I have them all attached, and it really didn't take a lot of pine cones. The next step is I bought a string of garland that looks like ivy, and you could probably find something like this on a recycled wreath also, but I'm just going to weave it in between all of the pine cone flowers to cover the wreath a little bit. Dress it up, make it look like it's live flowers in here, and I'm just going to trim it off. But basically, this is your final product, and I think it really looks cute for taking things out of nature and making something that looks bright and cheerful for spring. You can hang that on your door or hang it on your wall. Try it.